Hello, my name is Barry. Welcome to Christianity Explained. I know with the ton of stuff that we're seeing on social media and everything, I know things can be depressing and it could probably make a victim out of anyone. And, and interestingly enough, that day I had an interesting conversation with a fellow Christian content creator, and he pointed out it's all over the place. And he's right. And if you read the description, you'll notice that I said I had to overcome my own set of victim mentality. Yeah. Now here's the shocker. Traditionally, when we think of that, we say, "Oh, victim mentality." Yeah, you sit at home and you feel like, "Oh, I'm woe with me." Not so fast, son. There's a lot more to it than that. Yes, there is a tendency to think the worst in everybody and and feel like, oh, I'm another failure because I'll never have a chance like and that, and you look for anything. But even with some help, it's up to you to do something with it. And I'm going to give you some encouragement about what I'm talking about. All right? 'Cause one thing I've learned, people learn through my storytelling than they do if I get tell them. Oh, but that's the way it had to be. I was born with my obvious disability and challenges in '64. And yes, uh, I grew up knowing that and being told how difficult life was going to be. Uh, don't expect help, all that stuff. So I was developing a form of a victim where you say, okay, I got to survive. I can't count on help. I can't, I got to do whatever. And be a little wary. 'Cause my father was telling me uh, to watch out. There will be people who will take advantage of you. So I'm like, okay, can I trust this guy? And it didn't help, uh, even when I was in church setting, because like, is this for real? And it made it very difficult for me. It made it difficult because when I had the opportunity to tell a certain Baptist pastor, National Baptist Church, tell him about what happened, some of the stuff, aside from assumption, it kind of kept me from saying, oh, I can trust one to tell me to help me. I can uh, open the door. But instead, I was guarded. And of course, it didn't help uh, when I was hearing others acting like, oh, you're white. You. I'm like, at least that's all I was hearing. And is that entirely true? Well, hopefully not. There's probably some distortion, but that's how I came to know. It's all over the place. Hmm. That's part of it. And with survivors mentality, uh, thought is that, oh, I got to do whatever it takes. I can't show that I'm my weakness, or else off to the group home with you. How dare you think to have a future? How dare you, infidel? That was the mentality. How dare you, infidel? How dare you try to prove that you are a full blown human being who that made in the image of God. And if you think that's old, I got news for you. Yesterday I saw a comment from some guy uh, who, for some reason, decided to throw Leviticus chapter 16, verse 21. I'll save you the trouble. Essentially, it's Moses, with the Lord told Moses, tell your brother Aaron that in time to come, uh, there are going to be born people with various defects and naturally disability. Because, I'm sorry, but blind, lame, all that, yeah. And that, and they were not to enter into the Holy of Holy and all that. They weren't allowed to serve as priests. As a child, I read that and thought, ugh, that was my thinking. No, it was really about holiness, and it wasn't meant to slam the door in my face. No. But unfortunately, this guy, he decided to post on there, and because he was also harrying other people with his comments, and for some reason, I had to put a hide on him, a block. He was going, how dare you think that you could preach the gospel? How dare you think that you could teach the word or anything like this? Don't you? You and he threw the verse and said, are you saying that God was wrong for?" I was like, "What the heck, boy? I'm so glad the Lord broke me free before I ran into that idiot, and I'm not going to be nice about it." And it wasn't just that; he was also uh, acting up. Hmm. Somebody's on Facebook. Hello. If you're on the profile, it doesn't always show up here. Uh, Come on over to the YouTube channel. And that was the challenge I had to deal. I dealt with that. I actually had a couple other people who thought, "Well, you should be in childhood work program. Then you could be." I'm like, and they look at me like, "Ugh." So yeah, see, but a victim mentality would feed on that thing and feel like if you're a survivor, have a survivor's instinct, like I gotta survive, I gotta show that person how that, or yeah, or you end up believing the lie and all that. So, um, it's like a push and a shove with me, feeling of shame and condemnation and judgment, like somehow I'm inferior. But you get in the picture, I was feeling all that. And I didn't really say it much because I didn't always feel like it was okay to share. But apparently, I need to share so to help others. In fact, that's why I started Inspiration Point a long time ago. So how? Well, first, I needed to do more than just read the Bible. Well, actually, no. You have to know specifically where to look. Okay? Hmm. And as it turns out, I didn't know it at the time. And I kind of wish somebody had said, "Oh, Barry, what is it you're talking with? Oh, wait a minute. Barry, you know that Charles Stanley wrote on that same topic that Joyce did with the battlefield on the mind of the mind? It'll be a lot better for you, you know, and you can get better insight and learn where to find the stuff in the scripture." Yeah, I wish somebody had tried that approach. But that's why I say, thank you, Joyce Meyer, for getting off your butt. I wish somebody had told me about Charles, because I actually like Charles Stanley. I just didn't know he wrote on some of the same topic. And here's the other thing about survivors thing. It feeds on anxiety, which I definitely had, and fear. Yeah, it also fed to feeling a feeling of worthlessness and feeling like a failure because I didn't measure up. And Lord slowly started to work on my heart. Yes, I needed to read the word in a concentrated area, and I needed that. And once I started learning some of it, it helped. But I had to do some else too. You see, I had to deal with the lies I was believing in here because one of the things when I did my own research on this, if you don't know, when you have the survivor's instinct version of victim mentality and or the other type, it creates what's called depression, and that's kind of what I was experiencing: a feeling of hopelessness, depression, all that. I did some studies some time ago, some years back, and it seemed like my brain, because of all that junk that I was going through, it was creating negative uh, chemicals in the brain that were kind of feeding on it. I didn't have the healthy kind of dopamine that would actually help me with that. How do I do that? Reading scriptures that is actually designed to help you, like focusing on Philippians 4 and giving thought to what's saying, on Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, especially when he said about anxiety, chapter 7. Hmm. And wait, and thank you, Joyce, for pointing out the fact that I needed to take captive every thought. But I needed to do it the way Paul was saying it, not Joyce. Ah, it's not about thinking positivity. No, it's also learning to put my eyes on Christ and knowing that the Father sees sees his son through me, and he can through you. Mm. Unfortunately, one of the negative impact that survivor has on people mm, is a feeling that either, oh, I gotta show them, I gotta prove that I'm able when, and when you do that, unfortunately, it creates a problem where like you don't do your real best, or it had the opposite. Like, why bother? And that's what was plaguing me in the earlier days of writing, because I was firmly believing, oh, who's going to be interested in me? See, one of the lies that this guy was trying to tell me, oh, there's no audience for you. All that bull. I'm like, really? Uh, I, no, there is definitely an audience. Hmm. I ain't pulling a Joel thing, okay? I'm not. But I do know people need to hear wisdom. They do need that, regardless. But see, that's the thing. If I listened to lies like that, I wouldn't even bother trying. But that's not what the Lord was wanting me to do. He was wanting me to push forward and say no. Now, here's the fun part. When you have the survivor's view version of, or even its opposite, you can feel walk with hopelessness and not bother, or you end up doing it with a view of, oh yeah, I'll do it, but I'm not going to make an effort because it's not good. A healthy view is more like, say, you know what? I'm going to trust the Lord to bring in. Yes, I have a part to play. And I've heard that across the board. But I'm going to trust God to bring in because people need those things. Uh, and yes, folks, please hit the like button. Yes, I know it's a little bit of an odd, but it does actually help. It doesn't just do dopamine. It also tells the algorithm, hey, good content here. People want this. And that they and they do. It also tells me, oh, these are the kind of things people like and share it. You probably know someone who's probably hurting right now. Huh. Now, I could do what some people do and point the finger at others. That's it. I don't have to. Uh, I have my own story to share. Hmm. Hmm. All right, let's see what's going on. Okay, and no problem. And I'm going to trust the Lord with the result because He knows. And that's what faith really is. And by the way, uh, not all, but there are a lot of people who, when you hear word of faith, no. I'm not talking about having faith in faith. That's false. Okay? My faith is in God, the Father, in what He is able to do and what He desires to do. And part of salvation, a big part of it is being rescued from the mire of depression that come with the feeling of hopelessness, victim, all that stuff. Yeah. Mhm. It's not just about, oh, good, I go to heaven. No, it's having a sense of freedom away from the bondage of that. Hmm. And yet, there are plenty of people in the body of Christ who are suffering. Hmm. Hmm. And yes, as somebody who does recognize that there are demonic spirits who uh, will seek, let me bring a little clarity here for you on that. They're not, if you already are suffering from all this, it's, for them it's more like, oh, this guy's already doing a number. Let's add fuel to the fire. Or, oh, this idiot is doing a job for us. He's not doing anything about it. That's then to be, and I'm sure there's more. And first thought, they don't have to enter in, they don't have to possess. It's just kind of like dealing with the usual bullies and punks that we've all had to deal with in school and even in cyberspace. Nothing new. But the worst part isn't even that, it's our flesh and what we hear from the world around. Do I think there is a cultural bias on certain things? Yes, that's a fact. That's not my imagination. It's real. I've seen some of the nonsense that was happening when the American Disabilities Act passed back in 1992. I thought it was a very good bill. I thought it was great. And I'm glad that Congress did it, and I'm glad President Bush did something like that. And yes, I agree with him that the quota a, would not be a good idea. So I understand the uh, the, the the belief that it would. What really needed to happen is if people needed to learn the truth about what people with disability can or cannot do, and learn how to help people and how to communicate. I didn't think it was a good idea if to keep employers from asking certain questions because let's put it this way: if I walk into a job and I have, and they're going to see my obvious physical challenges. Okay, that, I'm not imagining that's real, and I can tell sometimes they may have questions like, "How is this guy going to see the computer screen? How is he going to do this? Whatever." Those are perfectly reasonable if you see that somebody has uh, thick, heavy thick lens glasses. Those are perfectly fine. I get it. And I'm thankful that I was with a group who told you how to do it the right way. Oh, and actually help the employer who can't ask those questions. Oh, in a healthy, right way. Hmm. Ooh, yeah. And yet, it didn't help. And I wasn't too thrilled when I heard some churches said, "Oh no, don't force us to accommodate." I was like, dude, you better go read your Bible. Uh, Jesus said uh, in more than a couple of places, go out there and bring in the lame, the blind, the people y'all are rejecting and seeing as useless. I want them in here. Yeah. Uh, whoop. Hmm, okay. Nope. All right. This video is going to be seen later. No problem. Normally, I'll stream around 5, 6, but didn't get too great of sleep, and I need to do. But see, that's part of it. And what did do work. I had to learn to say, you know what? Yeah, people are going to make mistakes. People are going to put their foot in their mouth. And by the way, I've done it too. And you would think I know, but nope. I put my own foot in my mouth with somebody else who was, I think, visually impaired or whatever. I was, I thought she was on. No, she was on the right one. Acting like an ignorant fool. So yeah, believe me, I've done it too. So yes, hmm, it happens all over. But guess what? If I had to learn, I said, you know what? I can't keep going around assuming the worst in everybody. Yes, there are going to be some bad actors. Whoopsie-doo. We all have a sin nature, y'all. And that's why we're told to crucify the flesh. We're supposed to crucify those carnal nature and keep putting it to death on a regular basis. So it would not reign in us. We're told to do that. And you find that in Galatians 5. And and to be led by the Spirit, we have to choose that. Hmm. Are you going to choose to listen to what the Spirit is saying and walk in the fruit of the Spirit? Yeah, the fruit, not the spiritual gift. I should say spiritual manifestation. Uh, no, yeah. There's another aspect of it. Yes, there's always been a history with people like me when it came not just to church but even outside. Uh, so the message I was given is, "Oh, you're not of value. We don't see you that." And I know it's shown all over the place. I know there are women who feel that way at times. I know there are a lot of uh, black brothers and sisters who run into that all over. No one is immune to that, but you have a choice. As always, I had a choice. Am I gonna go along with what? No, I don't have to. Mm, that's where I learned to develop an attitude of saying, of what I would call, hmm, uh, it's not positive. I'm a realist, but I'm a hope-filled realist. I see the reality of the fact and that, and truth and hope, because I'm being filled with hope that comes from the Lord. And that, hmm, yes, I know that Jesus, if God wanted to, He could supernaturally heal me, uh, help me to have. But then, wait a minute, look at what I'm doing now because of my obvious disability. Hmm. Yes. That, you think that's going to happen if I sit at home feeling sorry? Or what I was doing was more like the survivors. No. Survivor doesn't really say anything about, how can I bless somebody else? Hmm. The person feeling sorry doing the pity party. Neither one. In fact, I was, because I was always needy. I was like, I need help. I need to fix this. I need to do that. Mm-hmm. This, which I did. I think there's another aspect of victim mentality that's also in there. I guess a feeling, I'm going to say that it's possible that feeling a need of affirmation, and it's easy to say, well, let God be your source of affirmation. It's hard to do that. It's challenging to do it because technically I was my father's, even though I had an older brother, I was actually my father's firstborn. And I felt like I was a failure to him because I didn't measure up to something. Or, I don't know, wasn't intentional. And I forgave. But uh, it didn't help when I'm being told uh, that those rotten liberal, mind you, this is back in the 70s and early part 80s. I graduated in 83. Uh, I really don't want to use what you guys call liberal today because it's not anywhere like it. Very different world. They would be closer to libertarian than they would be that. But the fact is, my dad thought uh, when the school said, "Hey, we need to adjust Barry's grades so that way he had the chance to pass," because they recognized that my disability was limiting my ability to do well in school. So while I would get an A, uh, and I was told actually what was going on. My father, I think, who doesn't like, never liked teachers at all. No. Like, yeah. I had a friend who was very conservative at the time as a teacher. I, I told him, hey, my dad would have gave him a hard time and called him. That's why I said we really need to be careful with these stupid labels. Uh, that not good. That's like it's called undermining. And when we do that, it makes it harder for somebody who is wanting to do well. Hmm. And that. Truth is, I did need to learn and recognize my actual limitation and what I can do, and more importantly, how to work around it in a good way. Hmm. Yes, I had some challenges and problems. Of course, who doesn't? But there was a solution to the problem. If you're wondering, I'm using on a PC, and I'm using Windows Magnifier that's built in into Windows 11. That allows me to see that I've been streaming for about 32 minutes. Yeah, and see, I don't have an audience right now, but I know because of experience and training that I will. Mm. Now, do you think I'd be doing this stuff if I had no? Hmm. Same thing with others. It's getting some training, and I'm glad for the group of people I'm with, connected with now. I'm learning how to rightly handle the word so I can be better at sharing insight in the right way. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. And by the way, uh, here's another little surprise. I was actually surprised to find out there were a lot of people who actually didn't even know I had disability. No, because they don't see that. Eh, yeah. Surprise. And I think some of you guys who kind of feel like you have to do whatever. Mm. Oh, goody. I got some people coming in a little late. Mhm. It's all right. Mhm. Uh, I am rejoicing. Now, is there anything I should kind of repeat here? Mhm. If you're wondering, all I have to do is do screen magnify. Mm. Well, let's see. Copy. Uh, oh well. Ah, oh, this isn't turning into the most exciting thing, but I can easily transition if needed. Hmm. I'm, give, I'm giving you a chance to chime in with a comment. Hmm. Now, my goal is to try to encourage you because, see, the reality is I don't like talking about myself in this way. Mm. Because I was raised not to see myself with serious limitations of disability, whatever you want to call it. Mm. Was raised to see myself as a normal person. In a lot of ways, I am. Yeah. Oh boy. So I don't see my challenges, my physical limitation as a problem. Hmm. uh, as others seem to have thought it was. And yet, and they told me, "Wow, you don't act the well, yeah, I didn't know I was supposed to." Because for me, this isn't a prison. For me, this is not a curse. For me, this is not a sign of God's judgment. Hmm. It is none of that. Hmm. For me, I say it could be very well uh, an unexpected blessing because it protected me from a lot of things uh, that would have gotten me into more serious trouble. Ooh, gee. Yeah, I know that's gonna annoy some people who it's like, I gotta heal, I gotta see healing. Oh, great, Ah, but don't be discouraged if somebody isn't healed right away. Hmm. And maybe ask the question, um, what is God actually wanting to heal in the person? Because I've had people say that to me in the past. Well, actually, it was true. God was wanting to heal me, but not in the way they were thinking. Because the natural assumption's over here, but they didn't know about the heart. The heart. It's the heart, you fool. It's the heart. Not the glasses and the hearing aids. Because my heart was the thing that was hurting. And it was my heart that made it difficult to believe. Now I have more confidence that God will do some amazing thing through me as I am. Now, am I going to heal all of it? No. I'm sure I will in time. Hmm. Hello. Who do I have the pleasure of viewing? Hmm. Yeah. So, and that's also important. All right. Usually, if I get into a lively conversation, I can go a lot longer. uh, Now, if you want to know, I am preparing to do a Bible study this Friday on Ephesians chapter 4. And oh boy, you will see a little bit more of an animated me, especially when it comes to the fivefold ministry. Boy. And some of the other fun stuff, because there's really, the Paul is breaking into some practical aspects which all Christians can benefit from. Uh, yeah. and I'm gonna have to get cracking on a book for that. I might do something more issue oriented on Saturday. We'll see. Plus, hopefully, if everything goes well, I'll have some interesting guests in the coming weeks. Ah, if I was a lot more recovered, because I haven't been sleeping that great, uh, I'd have streamed this at 6. Hmm. But this isn't the topic that grab people's attention much. All right. Hey, if again, if you like this content, please like, share, and I trust you will have a blessed day. See ya. Uh, when I see ya.